One of the most popular events in a tournament to participate in and to watch is called after dinner speaking, also called ADS for short. Now, ADS is so popular because it's fun to do, it's fun to watch, and it's fun to participate in. Consider after dinner speaking like when you're attending a banquet and you've had a nice big dinner and now you're going to have a guest speaker, which is there to inform and entertain the crowd. So after dinner speaking is a serious topicked speech. It's a regular speech that's infused with humor so that it's really fun to listen to. Now, a lot of people get after dinner speaking confused with stand-up comedy. These are very different from one another. Stand-up comedy is kind of a series of jokes about a subject, and then they move on to another subject and do a series of jokes. This is not at all what that is. This is a serious, structured speech. So when we talk about speech structure in a lot of the videos with introduction, thesis, roadmap, point 1, 2, 3, conclusion, that whole structure is very much a part of ADS. You still have to have all of those elements. The judge is looking for those. The judge wants to be very clear on that speech structure. They want to make sure that you have a nice, serious, regular topic. The only difference is that the speech is loaded with humor. Now, one of the things that's also attractive to a lot of people about after dinner speaking is the time limit. ADSs are only 6 minutes in length versus the 10 minutes of a lot of other speeches. So it's a lot less material you have to prepare. But really 6 minutes is all you get to tell this whole nice speech, again infused with humor. Now, to me, what really makes ADS difficult, I think it's one of the most difficult speeches to write personally. And that's because every single person finds humor in different things. Everyone defines humor differently. And so what's funny for one person, hysterically funny for one person, is completely dumb and eye-rolling for the next person. So it's very common for people within a competition to get first place in one round and then go and give the exact same speech and get sixth place in the next round because the judge just has a different sense of humor. So when you're doing after dinner speaking, expect one heck of a roller coaster of a ride because, again, not everyone's going to find the same things funny or connect with your style of humor. So always look for fun ways to inject humor in there, fun ways to add jokes. But the biggest thing for me is that this is not stand-up comedy. A lot of times people don't realize that and just go in looking for the funniest overall speech, but it has to have structure. It has to be on a regular topic. So make sure your after dinner speech has that. Again, you need to look at this just like you would be giving a speech after a dinner, like a big conference style dinner. And this particular speech is a toast. And so at the end of your speech, you need to raise your glass. And you actually you pantomime raising a glass. And everyone in the audience is going to pantomime raising their glass. But you say, I raise my glass to blah, 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 blah. Whatever is this going to tie in with your speech. And you don't have to raise a glass. You can raise whatever you would like that's within the context of your speech. I've heard all sorts of different creative, and I'm going to raise my two-pronged fork to... It all depends on the writing of your speech and what you want to tie it into, but it doesn't have to be a glass. You have to raise something because everyone else in the room is going to raise theirs. But this is what you do kind of to wrap up your speech, tie it up all together as part of that conclusion. As I raise my glass or whatever it is, I raise my gold-laden high heel shoe. It all depends on your subject, but find some sort of a clever toast at the end of your speech just to kind of bring it all together. And that's one of the fun little things about after dinner speaking. Now, be aware when you're doing after dinner speaking is that when you are successful with it, you need to deal with audiences because typically when people don't make it to final rounds, what's the one event that everyone wants to go to? ADS. And so ADS becomes kind of a big haven for a lot of spectators at a tournament. One of the things that you really want to make sure that you're doing when you're doing ADS is that your humor is appropriate. You don't want to do anything that's going to be inappropriate, jokes, that might be pushing too far. One of the things you want to make sure you consider is, if my parents are watching this round, are they going to be offended by the things coming out of my mouth? If, for instance, our district tournament is at Marist each year, and that means like administrators from the school could be in watching rounds. Are you going to be comfortable with some of the things that you're saying, knowing that administration could be listening? Always a good gauge. So you do want humor, but you don't want to go in a place where it's inappropriate humor. Keep your jokes in good taste. Don't push the limits, and then everything will work out better. So write your speeches, infuse the humor, have some fun. ADS is a great thing to do. We've had a lot of success on our team in the past with after dinner speaking, but just go and have fun, write some cool speeches. I can't wait to hear them in practice rounds, and let me know if you have any questions. And with that, I raise my glass to you, future ADSers. We're going to keep the Marist tradition of ADS alive and do some awesome things.